And then I don't want it. I don't. I'm going to replace everything in this house. And in case Raina is watching this, since everything in the house is currently hers, because I told her, like, hey, when we broke up, I got all emotional and everything, and I was like, she asked me if I was uploading, which I think she's just prying into my business. But whatever. Don't get pissed off if you happen to find this pissy rant because of it's a reaction of an action. Like I always told you throughout our entire relationship, you know, there is what comes up must come down. There's always a sense of balance in the universe. There's always gravity. There's pull and push. There's always an opposite. And for every action, there's a reaction. Or to those old-fashioned people or people who like to think a certain way. Like my parents, they said for every action, there's a consequence. To me, consequence always seemed like a dark word. It's like suffer the consequences. Blah. You're dealing with the consequences. I like the very basic and bland and neutral term of action and reaction. If I go like this, whew, and even with my mouth just go like that, that was an action that caused a reaction in the air and the molecules and everything like that. Everything you do affects everything. There's cause and effect. And so if you want to get pissed off at me because you think that I'm using you and I don't have a car. You work down the street. They are 2-month old. What? I don't know what that was. It was a text from my ex Monica, and she said they are 2-month old. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. But anyways, so you can't get pissed off at me and want to assume the worst of me, and think that I'm just using you. And it's like, oh, well, no, I don't have a car. It's kind of difficult when the only road, kind of like down in Pigeon Forge, they only have one road in the entire county. And that's, what is it, Dolly Parton Parkway or highway or whatever. Well, here, it is a legitimate highway. It goes from, I think, like being part of the freeway then to just being the main road or something. It's a fucking highway. I mean, I don't need to explain that. Everyone knows what highways are. So there are no sidewalks. There's a distance that you have to walk or ride, and it's just like it's illegal to do so. People drive crazier on highways and faster. If it rains, I'm screwed. I can't take my bike and ride with crazy people, I'm still healing from a fucking car wreck myself. I don't need to worry about that. Why can't you just be a nice person and give, and whatnot? I'm not saying, oh, be sympathetic or whatever, but I'm just like, if you're already in the area, if you say you want to be there for me still and you still care and you want to be my friend, well, friends do carpool, if your car happens to break down, Raina, and because you refuse to get the oil changed, like we have been together for a year. I don't know anything about cars myself. I really don't. Never owned a car. My father never taught me anything about cars. I know what buttons in the front do what. That's it. I know how to turn the ignition key. I don't know how much pressure it takes in order to go whatever speed. I don't know anything about driving. Never drove in my life. You tell me something about a car part or an engine, and I'm just like, I don't know. I even worked for O'Reilly's Auto Parts for a little bit. I didn't know what the fuck anything was. Well, this is transmission oil. What's a transmission? I don't know what those parts do. I don't know where they are in the car. I don't know anything about the vehicle's anatomy. So, yeah. If I don't know how often, just with that being all said, I don't know how often you're supposed to change your oil. So me and her have been together for, 2-3 months, more than a year, or no, about a month or two more than a year since we broke up in like the beginning of April, and our anniversary was on like February 2nd, or not 2nd, 22nd or the 20th or something. So, yeah, we have been together for about a year, and she never once got her oil changed. I don't know how often you're supposed to change your oil, but I know if you don't, bad things happen to your car. So if your car, Raina, again, if your car breaks down and you have no way to get to work and you have someone like a neighbor who drives that far anyways, or you have money to pay for gas money and you contact one of your coworkers, hey, can you pick me up? I'll pay you the gas money to go so far off your way. That's what people do. Don't get pissed off at me because I'm your ex-boyfriend, and I still want to get a ride when your work, you may be like 45 minutes in the opposite direction of Newport, wherever the fuck you're at. Not my business. I could ask out of curiosity, but I don't, because it's none of my business. Okay, you don't live in that area, cool, whatever. But yeah, so if you're still working down the street from where you and I used to live, where I still live, why can't you just pick me up, drop me off? Takes you 2 minutes. You're so worried about gas money. I can pay you the gas money. I have no problem with that, as long as you can still pay your part of rent. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, well, pay your rent and da-da-da-da-da. Like, anyone who views this, please don't make it seem like I'm just some screwed up, hateful person. I am pissed off, but here's the thing. Her name is on the lease. Legally, she is still obligated to make sure the rent is paid. So I am trying to get on my feet, but she still needs to legally help me with paying the rent. And my electric, all these lights you see on, are in her name. So even if I give her the money, she still has to actually make that payment until she turns it off and I get it under my name. So yeah, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm pissed off because of how she wants to treat me. And ooh, my stomach. And that's... oh. Ooh, I don't know what I did. But that's just the bottom line. Is I'm ranting, I'm yelling, I have a sore throat, I have damaged vocal cords, I have acid reflux, I have all this messed upness. I don't need to be going like this for going on almost 30 minutes now. On top of the fact I was on the phone with my brother John for a little bit, and I was recording before that, so, I need to let my vocal cords rest. So, everything being said, Raina, if you want to be friends, you just need to treat me how you want to be treated. Don't sit here and expect anything from me. You know how my personality is, and if you don't, because you didn't bother to get to know me well enough, you just wanted to put me down. Oh yeah, here's another thing. Just for the sake of, I'm already exhausted and whatnot, but I'm going to say it anyways, because it's just something that's festered, is... You know what? No, I am exhausted. I'll bitch about it later. But ultimately, I was never allowed to have friends over. I had a buddy named Andrew. He's still my friend. I'm just saying had because of this is an event that happened in the past. But he contacts me, wants to come over and hang out and everything. And we live in a different apartment. We live in Coleraine. And he even says he'll come and walk to Coleraine to my apartment just to fucking chill and hang out. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to. I mean, there's a bus. He's like, yeah, it's whatever, though. I could use the exercise. And I'm like, okay, it'll take you a good few, however many hours, though. And I don't exactly have a couch at the time. I didn't have a couch in order to let him just rest and chill. And, if he wanted to crash here, he could have. We don't have the couch. We actually left it there. It kind of broke. But yeah, I mean, that was the thing. She was always like, oh, well, we don't have the means to being good hosts and everything. I'm like, well, you keep buying stuff. You keep, wasting money. Like, get this, people. And I know that I'll probably rant about this in the future. Because, again, I am exhausted, but I'm still talking. For the sake of doing so, I guess. There was one time and I think I actually have mentioned this in the past, but again, I'll bring it up a few times until it's no longer a fester in me. Is my heat on? Because, dude, it's fucking hot in here. I'm turning my cold air on. There. She bitched at me because there's the Thorntons right here at the end of the complex. And I walked there and I spent like $10. I thought I'd spend 7, ended up being 10. Big deal. I miscalculated and forgot to put in taxes when I did the math. Big deal. She bitched at me, completely chewed me out for spending money we didn't have when we couldn't afford rent. Then, within like 2 or 3 days, goes and buys $31. I sat there and I did the math out of the numbers that she told me. Since I didn't go to the store with her, I didn't know. But she sat here and bought toaster strudels, the Pillsbury toaster strudels. She bought 2 things of fucking Valentine's Day candy because I'm laying in bed. She's like, "You want me to get you anything?" And I'm like, gone. I'm brain dead. And I'm like, "Give me a box of chocolates." Like my eyes are closed. I'm laying in the room and whatnot. And she's just telling me, and I'm thinking, you are 39 years old. You're an adult. You know if we have the money for a goddamn box of chocolates. And you can tell that I was kind of slap happy and everything. I can understand if you have a spouse and you like treating them, but treat them when you can afford it. I love treating whoever I'm with, whoever my partner is. I love spoiling them. I also love being on the receiving end. I want that equality. I want, if I'm going to treat you like a fucking goddess and everything, I want you to treat me like a fucking king as well. You're my king or you're my queen, be my you know what I mean. My voice is kicking in. But so that's just my thing is I just wanted her to be smart with our money since she liked to deal with all the money, and I never truly healed due to just the fact that she would put me down all the time and bash on me and whatnot. I wasn't allowed to have a social life, guys or girls. The big issue was she always felt threatened if I wanted to have a chick friend, but I realized looking back, the more that I'm healing and the more that I'm alone and dealing with things on my own, the more I'm realizing it wasn't just girls that she didn't like. She didn't want me to have a social life at all. She didn't let Andrew come up because supposedly we didn't have any food. And Andrew is a very real motherfucker, and he will tell you what is on his mind and not hold back. He doesn't have any filters in his head, so to speak. And I'm not saying anything bad. That's kind of a good thing in my mind. You should be able to speak your mind and whatnot. But he told me, I'm like, "Dude, I don't have much food." And he's like, "I don't care. I want to come up and hang out." And this is something my friend, acquaintance, or whatever, we don't really know each other very well. So I don't know which one in the gray area that falls under. But my friend Spencer told me, he's like, "Well, if someone wants to come up and hang out with you, they're coming over for you. They're not coming over for what you have. You don't have a couch, fine. They can sit on the floor." And I'm kind of learning that because my friend Eva, who I was friends with when I worked at Walmart for 2 weeks, me and her are finally going to be able to hang out and whatnot. She says that she wants to come over and chill on Sunday, and I'm not going to tell her like I have Saturday off now, and just mess with everything. It's already set on Sunday. We'll just hang out on Sunday, But yeah, so, and I told her, like, I don't have a couch. All I got is my PlayStation 2. I don't have internet. I do feel awkward, the fact that I like being a host. I like being a genuine and a hospitality, hospital. I don't know. I like being a good host whenever I have people over. So, they walk in the door, whether they're staying long or not, I will offer them food. "Hey, you want something to eat, something to drink? This is, I got water, juice, food, whatever." I said food. So, ultimately, if I don't have accommodations, I do feel